Hey, Kyle here. This is another model video. Chaos Space Marines as always. And this one is a new model that I have gotten today. One moment, I will have to raise this up. Alright, so this right here is a Rhino that I got today, Thursday. It's not completed yet. It's not completed yet, but I am currently working on putting all the detail on. I had some trouble with the top piece, and it kind of didn't go together right, so I have to shave down a little bit, shave all the excess glue off, and do some green stuff, because I think there might have been a mismold, and it didn't fit on perfectly. I don't know where the mismold is, but it's fixable. I just had to shave the glue back off of that and then just fill that gap with green stuff, and then put green, shave this, not green stuff here, but shave all this stuff down. I also have to put green stuff back here to fill that gap. There might not have been a mismold, I might have just put the thing on top wrong, but it's repairable. So this right here is Slaanesh. Basically, Slaanesh symbol right there. I decided to put the Slaanesh symbol on the top, but I didn't want to put it on the back hatch because I had the back hatch glued with sprue. Because I didn't want to put glue in between there, because with my first Rhino, there's like a bead of glue all along the edges in the center. And because I want to do some sculpting here, because it's Slaanesh, and I want to make it look like a womanly figure. Like a woman's figure being forced, as if she's trying to escape from the armor, and her, like, she's pushing forward, her upper body's pushing forward, trying to get out of the armor, as if her soul has been bound into it or something, and she's screaming, and I'm gonna see how well that's gonna go. But that's what I'm gonna do with this, because it's Slaanesh, and you gotta be a little extreme with the Chaos Space Marines. So, yeah. I have the spikes on the front, which can count as a dozer blade, or it can just count as... It doesn't have to be a dozer blade, but it can be. And I just put it on there because it looked cool. And if my opponent asks, like, if I'm using it, like, I'll let my opponent know if it's a dozer, if I'm using it as a dozer blade or not. And if I use one as a dozer blade, all the ones I'll have these on the front will be using dozer blades. So, I glued down this little piece here. I've just decided to start either gluing them up or gluing them down because they're just too much of a pain in the ass to mess with. And I actually had to apply glue to the edges back here so that it can close without falling open. So yeah, and I have, I'll just pop this guy off. I have a tank commander I made. Because all of my tanks, I want them to have a nice tank commander. A unique tank commander. Like for my Nurgle Vindicator, I have this guy as a tank commander. So every tank is going to have its own tank commander that is going to be unique. And of course, any secondary weapons that I will design. Because a Rhino gets a twin link bolt gun standard, I gave him a twin link bolt gun. I just took two bolt guns, shaved down in between, and just slapped them together and put them on there as his arm. I also reposed his arm a little bit. I cut the hand off and reposed it, so it looks like he's sort of observing the battlefield, and with his gun, with his firearm prepared. So he's very Slaanesh-y. I like the helmet's more very Slaanesh. Except I didn't have any Slaanesh shoulder pads to give him, so I just used what was in the box. This hatch right here I glued down, but I do have an option that I made for him, or for this Rhino. Basically take off the tank commander, and I converted this right here up. I have actually discovered that if you cut off the cable on the left side, on the bottom part here, you can see how a cable goes down, and you take the part with that actually had the gun mount, just cut off the gun mount, And then the Havok Launcher just sits in there perfectly. It's a perfect fit. So, you know, I wanted to have a Havok Launcher at least as an option, because I've found Havok Launchers to be quite useful against anti-infantry. And since the Rhino still has the twin-link bolt gun, I took the twin-link bolt gun that was in the kit, and I have to adjust this, slide this up real quick. I just put the glue on this, and it's still kinda not lined up. There we go, that's better. Took the twin-link bolt gun that was in the box, and I sort of trimmed it down a little bit. I cut off on this one, on this piece here, I cut off the blade because it looked just weird on one side. I had to trim it all down on the insides on both of them, and I just shaved down the detail off of the on each end and just glued them on. And it fits right there, and it basically looks like a missile battery on top of the Rhino. Kind of reminds me of something out of from the Tau. You know how they just have the big, you know, like sentries. So that's basically an option that I made because I had a bunch of extra parts, and I'd end up having a Havok Launcher lying around, because I can't have this guy sitting on there, then have the Havok Launcher on the other sponsor, and I didn't want to mount it on the hull. So this is the best next thing, or the next best thing. I should have did it with my Vindicator, but it's gonna stay on this. I have it up here. Like with this right here, I have the Havok Launcher mounted on the hull, but considering one weapon destroyed result will basically make it non-useful, at least it will have a purpose in the battle. This right here. So, you know, it just depends on the tank. But I like how this little gun turned out. It's basically brilliant. And then just stick some bolt guns on the side, especially if you're using it for a Rhino. So it fits on there. Gotta make sure it's aligned. I think that's pretty much spot on. It's always, with having a gun on each side like that, it's always a challenge. Just getting it all aligned so it doesn't look too wonky. That's about good. So, Chaos Slaanesh Rhino. I'm not done with it. All my Chaos tanks are going to have a nice little touch. I'm going to have one more of these with a tank commander and similar weapon. And also screen stuff work on it, because I like converting my tanks. Tanks are fun to convert, as you've seen from my Nurgle Vindicator. So I gotta just repair along the left wheel well, because it just didn't want to go on, and it's a problem. I've also got some glue I gotta shave down. I've always had this problem. So I'm just going to pop this off and show you where I mounted the icon. I kind of wanted it in like a random angle, so I just put it on the hull. Because I'm on my Nurgle Vindicator, I have the Nurgle icon mounted right there. I also, basically I just had the doors on the opposite sides, and that's where the green stuffed woman trying to force herself out of the armor, as if her soul's been bound to it. I got the inspiration from a Defiler, to where basically there were people wiggling under the armor, and it was just really, really, really sadistic. But with Warhammer 40k, who cares? Everything looks awesome. So this is my Slannesh Rhino. I think I've already said that. So tell me what you think of my little conversion here. You know, it's a very good thing to do, you know, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to have like a guy on a gun and then have the Havok Launcher on the other sponson, because there's just not enough room normally. So some people mount it on the hull, but then you can't get it off again, and you know, you'll have to basically tell your opponent, oh, he doesn't have a Havok Launcher, then you forget. So yeah. So I'm gonna be working on this. I've also, the Bane Blade is nearly done, so after I get the Bane Blade done, I'll have plenty of, more than enough time to work on this stuff. So, I'm going to be getting a second Rhino, I'm going to be making a second Slaanesh Rhino. Then I'm going to start cycling out my my generic Rhinos from my generic Codex army, because I'm only using them because I'm short on Rhinos. So then I'm going to be getting some for my Plague Marines, maybe my Plague Marines. Basically, my Ardboys army is going to have transports that are dedicated to each troop, so they'll basically be adorned for each troop, and they're all going to have unique tank commanders. So tell me what you think of my Rhino thus far. You know, the tank commander. Actually, this arm right here is actually the gunner arm for the weapon mount. So, my phone just went off. So I just cut it up a little bit, just stuck it there like he's resting his hand on the sponson. So there it is, basically side to side with my other tank, my heavy tank, which this is still being worked on. I still have, this is going to be my game state conversion piece for 2011 in Chicago. So I still have to work on this a little bit. This one's just going to be a converted Rhino for my army. So there we are. Also, just for a little bit, just for the hell of it, Uber freaking tank. Get that on there. There we go. So this is KyleX5665 signing out with my new Rhino and conversion. Bye.